any realtors in here besides me. I was chairman of the Houston Association of Realtors when it was the largest realtor group in the country. Yeah, we started the roll-up process. So I'm an appraiser by trade. I was chief economist at Texas A&M for a decade. I've been chief economist for Stewart for 22 years. And every year I have to come up, who's never heard me speak? Never heard Ted speak? Never heard Ted? Whoa. That's why you're here. I have people that heard me, they're not here, they know. So every year I come up with a new general theme and then we put data around it. Every speech changes every day. So anyway, so I have this new speech topic every year, and this year I decided axioms. The reason I picked axioms, first of all, we are not going to talk politics. Because I'm disgusted. Is anyone else disgusted? I'm disgusted with Democrats, and I'm disgusted with Republicans. And I'm disgusted with us for electing those losers. Anyone else with me on this one? And so we're going to talk about, I decided, because all the lies, and they call it fake news, and everyone does it. I don't care if you watch Fox, CNN, MSNBC, it's all lies. Not all, they all lie some. Who agrees? So if you remember, I'll take you back to high school geometry. Who remembers high school geometry? First of all, the bad part about high school geometry is you had to do all those proofs. The good part is the truths. You said, that's true, that's true, that's true. So that's what an axiom is, and we're going to talk about that. But that said, now I'm going to talk about one of my two pet peeves today. This year, each year is two different things. And that's this gluten-free garbage that's going on right now. Now, I have to say this real carefully. My wife is a celiac. About 1% of the population cannot tolerate gluten. And for them, it's a way of life. Any celiacs in here? Any celiacs? That means for everyone else in this room, it's bad. Is that a fair statement? And yet, even though 1% is gluten intolerant, 10% of Americans claim they're gluten-free. Who has ever eaten a gluten-free pizza? Don't. What I want you to do next time is tell them to cut a round out of a piece of cardboard, put sauce on it, cheese, and toppings, and it will taste better. Who knows I'm right on this one? When they said on this one, gluten-free frozen in the charcoal aisle, that is appropriate, folks. Now, to show you how far we're taking this gluten-free thing, there's this place selling Uncle Matt's handmade, one-of-a-kind, 96% gluten-free birdhouses. I was in Austin, Texas. I live in Houston. And 7th Street Barbers in Austin. By the way, the motto of Austin for the last 50 years is keep Austin weird. Y'all knew that history. Someone said yes. They got, first of all, they're hitting every buzzword. They got free-range organic haircuts. All haircuts gluten-free. Well, no kidding, because you don't eat them. MS Rouse Antiques New Orleans. Who's ever been there? MS Rouse. Yeah, gluten-free antiques. You don't eat them, who cares? Diesel fuel, gluten-free, no kidding. It's made out of oil. Santa Fe, New Mexico, gluten-free parking. Gluten-free windshields. Oh yeah. You're in Denver when you got gluten-free marijuana. You got gluten. This guy Gourmet, he couldn't spell gourmet. Gourmet tree, 100% gluten-free guaranteed. But my favorite, and ladies, you'll be proud of me. I only got the picture. I didn't go inside. This one place even has gluten-free lap dance. Do y'all understand how stupid we are on this gluten-free stuff? Yeah, that's it. Look, now I want to talk about my first axiom. First truth is things change. Who agrees that's a great truth? So I want to ask, who are my millennials in here? We don't have enough. Realtors, millennials, in the next 10 years will own this business because it fits their lifestyle. There's no limit on what you can make. You don't work 9 to 5 days a week. That's actually what millennials prefer, and they're very good at meticulous details. So I'm going to tell y'all, so my millennials, I'm going to pick on y'all real quick. Don't worry, I'll applaud you later. But millennials, I know things change. I know you've never seen a payphone. That's what, notice they're taking pictures of it. That's what payphones look like. So now, I found this video that kind of describes my thing about this axiom truth. So here we go.
Yo, Brew, what's it like?
It's cold and refreshing.
Oh.
So this next one, who's ever done, team building events with your office or anyone else, associations, what have you? So here is a great team building project for y'all. Here we go.
It'll be an exercise in building trust between one another. So Harrison, if you don't mind going first, step up here on this chair and close your eyes. All right, and then everybody fill in, and we're going to ask you to fall, and then they will catch you. So you have to trust us. So I'm going to count to 3. Just relax and fall. Okay? 1, 2, 3. No, wait, no!
So just a few comments. That is officially known as taking one for the team. That's why I no longer ever do team building projects. Who's with me on this one now? So why does this do this one? My favorite axiom is jobs are everything. And I have to tell y'all, this is one of the most robust, sound economies I've ever seen in my life. And I'm 65, so it's not like my first rodeo, so to speak. This is a dynamic economy, and you're actually one of the best states in the country. You're going to see that in a few minutes. It's fun to give good news. Every year, my first speech of the year is in Cleveland. Anyone here from Ohio? I understand why you got here as fast as you could. I don't know if my Stewart friends up here, my Stewart, Carlos and Rich, I don't know what I did wrong to get sent to Cleveland in January. There's not one good thing you can say about Cleveland. For 14 years, I've trash talked Cleveland. So much that last year they said, if you don't say something good about us in Cleveland, we're not going to let you leave this room. So I thought for a second, I said, the good news is for the people in Cleveland, you do not live in Detroit. We talk about jobs or everything. So let me put this in perspective. First of all, let's talk U.S. job growth. Last 40 years, our annual compound average job growth is 1.43%. We're growing at 1.76%. We're growing 23% above the 40-year average. That's really good, guys. You always want to be better than average, am I right? There we are, 23% now. That said, we got more jobs than any time in history. President Obama could have said that. President Trump can say that. Most presidents can say that, believe it or not, because the economy generally improves. We added 2.62 million net new jobs in the last 12 months. This is just great news. You can see that's our total jobs. But what we're doing right now is different. Now, we all know that President Obama took over at a very difficult time. Economy was tough, but we spent trillions of dollars to turn that economy around. And so what happened was we were spending so much money, each one of these bars going up shows the total number of jobs created in the prior 12 months. We actually peaked in February of 2015. We created 3.1 million jobs in the prior 12 months. And even though we were still spending over $1 trillion a year in stimulus, we were still growing jobs with a declining rate. Y'all see that black line? Even though we were goosing the heck out of the economy, we just weren't growing jobs as fast. Still growing, but not as many. And then we had a turn. Now, part of the problem, the reason we didn't, it's unique that both President Trump and President Obama lost the House at the end of their second year. And they both lost at that point in time the ability to get any bills through the House. President Obama lost it, President Trump lost it. Very similar. Who remembers though President Obama said, don't worry, I still have a phone and I still have the pen. Remember when he said that? He did. Yes, he did. And what he did was, he said, the power of the pen is, every president has the privilege for executive orders. And President Obama exercised his as he was legally right to do so. But what he did is he put more regulations on small business. Y'all need to understand this room. Small business grows 70% of all net new jobs. We define small business in the U.S. as any company that has less than 300 employees. Almost every person in this room is a small business person, am I correct? It's the innovator, it's the one that creates jobs, not the big corporations. 70% of all jobs come from small firms. So what happened was we started going down in jobs because we kept adding regulations. And then we had two things to take place. President Trump repealed those executive orders from President Obama. So we deregulated. And we had a tax cut. Now I'm going to tell you all up front, the tax cut did not help everyone. Republicans lied to you. So the Democrats. Who remembers when the Democrats said that only the top 1% will make more money? Who remembers that? Actually, both those groups are wrong. It's somewhere in between, and we're going to talk about that. We did have a miss in February. We only created 33,000 jobs. We thought we'd create about 100,000. We do get a new jobs report tomorrow. The expectation is we'll only create about 27,000 new jobs. Guess why we're only going to create so few jobs? It's because there's nobody left to hire. And let me tell you how good this economy is. My brother-in-law has a job. That's how good this economy is. And that's where we sit today on this front, on this job day stuff. Now I'm going to tell y'all, when you go to your doctor, what's the first thing the doc does to you? Take your blood pressure. And I'm going to give you a blood pressure test for the economy. Where are we headed? We go into recession or not? Because so goes the economy, so goes demand for housing. My blood pressure test for the economy is employment and leisure and hospitality. And the logic on this one is you and I do not spend money in leisure and hospitality unless we feel good about the future. Leisure and hospitality is spending, and hence employment, is probably the ultimate consumer confidence gauge. As long as leisure and hospitality is blowing and going, we are not having a recession. Overall job growth rate in the U.S. is 1.76%. Our leisure and hospitality, not quite double, 2.8%. We feel very good about the future, which says right now, given current events, we do not see a recession out there at all. I'll tell you all that up front. So we're going to play Jeopardy now. I used to be a professor at A&M. I taught a commercial graduate appraisal course. I did this to my graduate students. First of all, 5% of the score would come from class participation. We'd play Jeopardy, because it's fun, right? Who's never heard of Jeopardy in here? Who's going to lie first? All right. So there's two ways to get full credit in here. You can either give me the correct answer, or you can give me a funny answer, and if it's completely incorrect but funny, I will give you full credit. So the answer why the U.S. economy is so doggone good is 3.2%. Who wants to tell me what 3.2% stands for? Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? You do.
GDP.
GDP. Well, first of all, you have more bonus points than anyone else. Secondly, could you think of a more boring answer than GDP? And third, you're wrong. GDP was 2 point. Yeah, that's why you got more bonus points than this. GDP in the latest quarter, preliminary number is 2.9%. 3 months, a quarter before that was 3.1%. So 3.2 is close, but wrong. Who wants to go next? Come on, someone. Yes.
Real estate appreciation.
Real estate appreciation. Most places it's a lot higher than that. Good answer. Boring as hers, just as wrong as hers. But you too have bonus credit, so I have two ladies winning. Who wants to give me the funny answer that's completely wrong?
Wages.
Wages. Well, you gave me the correct answer. Crap. What this is, she actually nailed it, and you're the first person to nail it this year. Our incomes the last 12 months went up 3.2%. Inflation is 1.6%, which means even after inflation, we all have more money in our pockets. That's the largest increase in wages in 10 years. Did you hear what I said? It's the largest increase in wages in 10 years. What do we do when we have more money in our pockets, folks? Yeah, that's right. And remember, retail spending is 70% of GDP. 60% of GDP. So who wants to give me the funny answer? Come on, someone give me a funny one. One of the best ones I heard was in Utah. 3.2% is a percent of alcohol and beer sold in Utah. But the absolute best this year, 3.2% of people in America thought that Clemson would beat Alabama for the football championship. Yeah, there we go. By the way, if you want to know, the unemployment rate is 3.6%. That's the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. And I always say this. The important thing about jobs, there's three kinds of people that don't need a job to buy a home. Those three kinds of people that don't need a job have blue hair, gray hair, or no hair. And most of them live in Florida, they're retirees. So, yeah. I had a professor, he talked about axioms. His favorite axiom was, when you get a raise, you just broke at a higher level. Who kind of sees the common sense in that one? You spend it. So just to show you where we came from, 90% of people are better off after the tax cuts. It's also one of the reasons that you're seeing so many people from the Northeast move here and relocate here today. In Miami, our #1 home buyer coming to Miami is coming from literally New York. Wasn't that true? It was not true a year ago, but it is today. And folks, 90% are better off. Oh, and that was Motley Fool's estimate a year in advance. The IRS just came out with a preliminary number. If you made the same last year as you made the year before, 90% of the people would take home more money, 89.6%. So, great news. Now, we do have some states that are losing under this. That happens to be California, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and Illinois. Who's seeing an increase of buyers in those states? Bingo. It's tax incentives that's taking place. The other one is kind of unique, the $80 billion. Zillow's chief economist came back and said, you know, if we're going to have that much more money in our pockets, we always spend some of it on housing. They said last year, this year, and next year, each of those years, we're going to spend an extra $80 billion on housing. We'll either buy a better house, we'll rent a better apartment, or we'll remodel our houses more. That's one of the reasons you're seeing an uptick in sales by groups like Home Depot and Lowe's because of remodeling side. Again, great news for housing. Here's the top 10 states in job growth in the prior 12 months. Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Washington, South Dakota, Idaho, Texas, Florida, Oregon, and South Carolina. Guys, think about it. You're 8th best in the entire country. Your job growth here is 2.36%. U.S. is 1.76%. Jobs are everything. And remember, a lot of people that move here don't need a job, am I correct? Yeah. So this is what's amazing about the job growth here. Taxes or lack thereof will influence where people relocate, whether they stay or not, and it also will influence where businesses relocate. Never impacts where a business starts. Businesses always start where that person lives. Gotta show you this. Each year the Tax Foundation does this great big study. They look at 5 taxes: corporate income tax, personal income tax, retail sales tax, unemployment tax, and property tax. You are the 4th best state to do business with in the United States of America. Now, 1, 2, and 3 aren't your competitors. You know, think about this. Number 1, Wyoming. You don't worry about competing against Wyoming. Number 2, Alaska. And number 3, South Dakota. But it explains why we get companies that have relocated here in recent years. Hertz's global headquarters, Southwest Florida, just down the road, up the road, so to speak. You get Caterpillar, and you're getting all these businesses that are coming here because of tax incentives. And folks, we're just starting to see it. You're going to see more and more and more job growth, good paying jobs coming in the state. I'm going to first start out, we're going to do Monroe County too, so I'm not going to leave y'all. Who's from the Keys in this room? Raise your hands. That's over half the room. I'm glad I stayed up until 2 this morning, put some good data in here. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, job growth is 2.26%. We'll round that to 2.3%. Got at 60,200 net new jobs. You can see what a hurricane will do to you. That's the job losses we have. You know, hurricanes hurt you very seriously in the short run. In the long run, make you boom. Never pray for a hurricane for economic growth, though. Who agrees with me on this one? Yeah. I own property in the Virgin Islands and St. John, so I get that. Here's Monroe County. It's a little different graph. We don't have seasonally adjusted data on the county level. So what I do is I just do a 12-month moving average. You can see the impact of the hurricanes there real big, can't you? And it's a much longer lingering effect here on the islands. Just as we're seeing Pensacola face that today. It's the same thing. They just haven't started to rebuild. On the other hand, do y'all see this phenomenal growth that's taking place today as we speak? Yeah. Yeah, just great news. 2.1%, 900 net new jobs. 900 is a lot when you only have about 44,000 change total jobs. This is an amazing thing. The unemployment rate nationwide is 3.6%. Monroe County, 2%. Even my brother-in-law would have a job here. I go back, that's a true statement. Secondly, Miami, 2.9%. Anyone that wants a job here has a job. Is that a fair statement, folks? Yes. Yes. I didn't say anything about affordability of housing. I'm not going to say that. If you want to live here and you complain about affordable housing, then you come and you live in Detroit. Am I correct about affordable housing? You don't live here because of affordable housing. Now, this is new numbers this morning. Freddie Mac is the keeper of interest rates. Our interest rates this morning for the prior 7 days were 3.82%. Below 4% again. How about that, folks? The lowest they've been literally since September 2017. And if the Fed cuts rate, we're heading to 3.5. And they gave this morning, the economic panel that I'm a member of, our poll vote this morning said we probably have a 40% chance of being by 3.5 sometime before year end. Did you hear what it said? Yes. Now that's not equal, that means it's a losing bet if it's a 40% chance. But what they're saying is we do not anticipate rates to go up. Who thinks that's incredible news? Interest rates are not going to be an impediment to anyone purchasing homes this year. U.S. home sales, and I'm going to take a different tack. NAR always talks seasonally adjusted data, which is gibberish. No one thinks, well, if they continue to sell at this rate, here's what the sales will be. I'm going to show you what your incomes are based off of. The blue bars in the background, that happens to be prices. We always have seasonality. For some reason, we always hit peak prices in mid-year. We always hit low prices in January, February in most places across the country. Our sales, though, that black line I have there, that's the total number of sales in the prior 12 months. The latest 12 months in the U.S., our sales are down 4.2%, our prices up 3.6%. I don't see sales going up a bunch, I'm going to tell you that right now, nationwide. I always say this, there's no such thing as a national real estate market. Every market is local, am I right? Yes. Now, that said, your market in hospitality, resort, destination markets like this are also a function of the U.S. economy. Because people that come here to spend money, they come here more often when they have money in their pockets, when the economy is really good. So you're one of the exceptions. That scares you the same way. Our big issue, why are housing sales going down? Well, it's not interest rates. It's not lack of jobs. And it's not income on the jobs. We're actually creating better jobs than we have, income-wise. It's all about affordability. Our home values, and we're going to do this from 2010 through 2017 because we don't have the new median income for 2018 in the U.S. In that period of time, our incomes went up 24% and home prices went up 51%. Our incomes are, even though they're going up, are not keeping up with home price increases. Am I correct? It's all about affordability. And I'm not talking about affordability on the entry level. I'm talking about affordability even for the upper income people, folks. Home prices, but you know this better, particularly all the Keys. Now the yellow happens to be the number of sales nationwide again before we get back to your local markets. Yellow are sales this year by month, green's last year and white's the year beforehand. We are now selling fewer homes the last 8 consecutive months than the same month a year ago. I expect that trend to continue. And the reason is, if you look at the latest pending home sales index, it's also down 2.2%. It's kind of hard to have more closings next month when you sign fewer contracts the previous month, am I correct? Yeah, so I'm just telling you where we're at. But remember, and new homes, you know, the black shows the total number of new home sales, the blue are prices. New homes aren't getting cheaper, we're just building more entry-level homes for millennials. Like I'll talk about millennials in a second in a big way, because it'll astound you. New homes, you go back to, and I'm going to take you pre-bubble in 06. The average new home in the U.S. costs 7% more than an existing home. At the very peak of the market in 2013, they cost 39% more. That's because in 2013, the only thing we were building are new high-end custom homes. Am I correct? And now, as our builders are starting to build more and more entry-level housing, our current new home price is 24% greater than existing homes. So here's Miami, and this is single family. Who's from the Miami area? Okay. Your sales basically flat year over year in single family. U.S. is down a bunch and you're flat. That's a big difference, isn't it? U.S. is up 3.6% of prices, and Miami they're at 4%. That blue in the background's prices. Do y'all see those just continuing to go up? Although we have pretty much we flatlined last year. I think we finally hit that point where we were at that price peak. People simply couldn't buy above that. That's why I was talking about affordability. Here's my condo sales. Condo sales, latest 12 months. We do that last dot to a year before. Sales up 2.9%, price up 5.2%. Again, you know, prices are kind of flatlining a little bit out there. We'll see on that one. This happens to be Monroe County single family sales. Our sales, and everyone kept telling me what I'm hearing, sales are down. No, they're not. These are Florida Realtors data. Latest 12 months in Monroe County. Total sales are up 6.9% more than 12 months ago. If you did not do good in the last 12 months, look to the person to your left and to your right because they took your business. Who thinks I'm right? She looked and she's mad over here. Look at this guy.
It's her fault.
Your price is up 7.3%. I don't want to hear one more word about a bad real estate market here. Who agrees with me? Yeah. Oh, you might have a house that hasn't sold. You've listed it too high, am I correct? So I'm going to give you a mission today. If you've got a listing that's been sitting out there for more than 60 or 90 days and not one little nibble, you go have that serious discussion with the seller. Who thinks I'm right? Oh, and by the way, when you do that, you just close the stir. We're all happy as all get out here. You're supposed to do that. Thanks. There we go, single family. Now, I did this one too, and I only picked the county, picked the cities. Again, Florida Realtors data. This is only quarterly. So we're looking first quarter this year, the first quarter last year, the first quarter the year before. Again, single family. There's some big copy. Nobody's there from there because they made so much money they didn't need to. Their sales are up 30. You come down this list, even Key West, your sales. Now think about this. First quarter of this year, 59 sales. First quarter last year, 60 sales. That's a duh. Look what our prices are doing over here. Still getting price pressure, am I correct? Yeah. Who's surprised? See, we all get caught up in our jobs because our listing isn't selling. Who thinks I'm right on this one? I want you to take these data or your data on sales, just take them out seller and say, Houston, we got a problem. And you can say, we have a problem. Who thinks I'm right? Yeah, there we go. I'm going to show you, this happens to be condo and townhouse sales. This is from Key Largo. Yeah, y'all sales on condos 20 a year ago in the first quarter, 15 this year. It's not a bad market. Do you have listings? Are they overpriced? I heard a yes. Did y'all hear a yes? You have to be real serious about price, folks. But look what our median prices are up. Village of Island is 33% this year, first quarter, 26% Key Largo, 11% Key West City, 14% Marathon. Folks, it's all about demand, it's all about jobs, it's all about price. Supply and demand still interact to create value. Who agrees? There we go. I do want to show you townhouse condo sales. Townhouse condo sales in Monroe County are up 13.7% from a year ago. How about that? Prices only up 1.2%. That's because the price point stayed the same, am I correct? A lot of that's monthly payment because a lot of locals buy condos, am I correct? They have a fixed amount they can pay. Are we building too much? I'll take my people to Miami. No. We're building a lot, but we have 2.8 new jobs per new dwelling unit. We always thought you needed 1.25 to 1.5 new jobs per new dwelling unit. In Miami, the whole MSA, we have 2.8 jobs. I don't have this data from Monroe County. I apologize. It's simply not available from the Census Bureau. And not only that, not only are we not building too much, we've underbuilt the last 6 years in a row. Y'all think you're old. How many of y'all think you live in an old area? Not you personally. Well, your median age here is 42. I'm actually going to be in Maine 9 days from now speaking. Their median age is more than you. Who's from Maine in here originally? How about that? 44.6.
And I've been here 48 years, so.
You've been here longer than they have. Okay. That's cool. That's great. Just want to show you that you're older, what have you. So I want to talk about millennials. And the reason I want to talk about millennials, folks, it was interesting walking around yesterday and this morning. This outside of here in the next 5 years is going to change from my group to millennials. Who thinks I'm right? Really do. So let me tell you about the good news about millennials. I'm a baby boomer, I'm 65. First of all, millennials have money. And the reason they have money is they don't have kids. Well, 42% do live at home. 37 to 42%. Now, I'm going to tell you about this picture of these millennials. There are no wedding rings on these millennials' fingers. The typical millennial will sign a home purchase contract long before they sign a marriage certificate, if not. We call millennials dinks. Y'all know what dinks are.
Double income, no.
Dual income, no kids. That's right. Latest 12 months, according to NAR, 13.6% of the population aged 25 to 34 bought 37% of all homes. If you don't believe me that millennials aren't important in housing, if you believe the misstatement that millennials will never buy homes, for the 6th year in a row last year, they were the largest home buying segment in the United States of America. How many of y'all do that? And I'm going to caution you, every person in this room, in your real estate brokerage, in your real estate team, you need a millennial because millennials like to do business with millennials. Who believes me? All right, so not only are millennials the future, they're the present. Now I'm going to talk, who are my Gen X and Gen Yers in here? What's the amazing thing is we never defined what a Gen X, Gen Y, or millennial is. The Census Bureau defined what a boomer is. We're born between 46 and 64. You get to pick what you want on this one. So who thinks that's kind of a good depiction of what Gen X and Gen Y are? Everyone kind of agree? So you got this last one, let me give you this one. We call them sitcom. You know what sitcom stands for, right?
No.
Oh, it's real simple. Single income, 2 children, depressing mortgage. Folks, one of the big things, are any lenders in the room? One of our big things on our Gen X and Gen Y, a lot of them have interest rates approaching 5% of their loans they need to refinance, but their credit's so bad they can't. So we call them sitcom for that particular reason. And then we have, I just find, I define baby boomers up as geezerama. Who thinks that's appropriate? I'm talking about my own group. But let me point out something, y'all. 10,000 boomers retire every day. 10,000. What's the magic age that they decide where they're going to move? 60? I got 60. I got a 55, 55, 60, 67, 67, 67, 62, 62, 62, 62. Actually, the magic age where people decide is 55. If you want to start cultivating sales for next year, you cultivate 54 and 55-year-olds. And very often when people at this age, they don't move when they're 54, 55, but they very often buy. Who sold something to someone 55 that is going to retire here 3, 4, 5 years later? Look at the hands. I'm serious about this. If I were going to farm real estate, not in this market, but on my mailing list or what have you, I would attack the 54-year-olds. Who thinks I'm right on this? We do believe that when it comes to this type of research. And you don't want to attack the 55 to 75 because they're shrinking.
You get the listings from them.
Actually, you get the listing from their executor of their estate. No such thing as national real estate market. We talked about that. There's some other things I call it. So let me just give you a quick overview where the economy's at, and then we'll wrap this thing up. First of all, retail sales, all-time records, folks. This is adjusted for seasonality and everything else. We're just buying stuff. Oh, but how we buy is different. Who in here has an Amazon Prime account? Yeah, that's my case. Are e-sales, e-commerce sales, good or bad for local business? The answer is yes. It's good if your local business participates. It's bad if they don't. I have a really good friend. His wife runs a gift shop in Houston. She has 1,000 square feet. Her sales last year were $5 million. $4 million online and $1 million of people walking through the door. Realtors, is your business not the same? If you want to talk about e-commerce, how many of y'all have sold a home or a condo to someone who's never seen it and they just came here to close? Look at the hands that just went up. So we're going to talk about this e-commerce and the way you're doing business and the other lines of business we're seeing. E-commerce sales, as far as retail sales, we're in the 11% range. I think we'll hit 13.5%. Grocery sales now make up 2 to 3% of all grocery sales. I think we'll hit about 11, 12% on that one. But I want to talk to you about how your realtor business is changing. We used to be what we call mono-channel marketers. Now that means I walk into the store, I pick up an item, I walk the cash register, I pay for it, and I walk out. That, realtors, is what you have. I'm gonna age myself here a little bit, but I used to own a real estate brokerage company a long time ago. Folks, all of our business used to come in, a home buyer would walk in, and they would say, I want to buy a house. And our agent would say, well, what price range? And we would pull out the MLS booklet. Am I right, realtors? You young people in here don't have a clue. And the big thing was, they say, I've got one day to look. You didn't even have time to call all the listing agents to see if that property was under contract. Look at the bobbleheads out here. And you would spend a day or two or 3 weeks showing them homes and hope you got a contract. I spoke in Orlando earlier this year. And I talked about how, well, just think about this. How many of y'all shopped on Cyber Monday this past year? Yeah. On Cyber Monday, 49% of all e-commerce sales came from a smartphone. A couple $billion worth. This brokerage owner in Orlando she said, what we do an exit interview with every person who purchased a home from us. 61% of our buyers last year saw the home they purchased on their phone for the first time. Did you hear what I said? Your business has changed. Now I'm going to do this segue too. It's changed and it's going to continue to change. But you may not need to. I'm going to put this out there. Y'all know about Open Door, right? Yeah. We know about Open Door and all. Zillow's doing the same thing, the iBuyer phenomenon. What? And I'm a homeowner. What's the worst thing about selling your home? Cleaning it up, repairing it, putting the dog out, putting me out, right? Well, now, all these iBuyer firms, if you haven't dealt with them, you just call them up, and they'll send someone over to do a CMA, and within 3 to 7 days, they'll say to you, maybe 24 hours, we'll offer you, your home's worth $300,000, we want to keep 7%, well, whatever the 7% is on $300,000 is $21,000. We'll write you a check 3 to 7 days from now, whenever you want, or 3 months from now, we'll give you that money. No appraisals, no inspections, no repairs, no declutter. So who's scared of that in this room? Because a lot of people doing this. Don't be scared of it. Watch this. Zillow says they hope within 3 years they'll do 5,000 a month. We're selling almost 6 million homes a year by then. 5,000 a month is that many. Do y'all understand? Now I want to caution everyone in here, and I'm very fortunate. I personally know the original founder of both RE/MAX and Keller Williams. I'm the chief economist at the Real Estate Center in Texas A&M when Gary Keller started with KW. And my undergrad is in Colorado State. I grew up on a sheep ranch in southwestern Colorado in the mountains. And one of the RE/MAX kids lived in farmhouse fraternity with me. Know these people. When those brokerages came out, everyone says it's going to hurt their business. Didn't hurt their business. We all just became more professional. Am I correct? One of my very good friends. Does anyone know Robin Mick from Houston? She owns Heritage, Texas. She has almost 1,000 agents. I asked Robin about this. I said, what does it do to you? She says, what it says to me, Ted, is I have to be very good at what I do. And if I'm very good at what I do, people will continue to use me. Who thinks I'm right on this one? And she says, and we are doing some of all that in our office. Now, we may not do the 7%, we may ask for 10%, and we have people take us up on that. Remember, every commission is negotiable, am I correct? Now, remember this stuff. So all it does is it keeps us, we always talk about continuous improvement, it's the same thing. What works, works, and what doesn't work, folks, it'll go away. So I just want to talk about this omni-channel marketing. It's coming, and the whole works. Lightweight vehicle sales. As long as we're above that black line, things are great. I didn't say good, I said great, and our vehicle sales are there. Here's ugly slide number 1, our federal debt. Yeah, I got to talk about, first of all, President Obama did double our federal debt from 10.2 trillion to 20 trillion. 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, the Republicans ran and said, elect us, we'll run a balanced budget. We did. They ran as big a deficit as the Democrats had, which means if you live in Washington, D.C., you're probably a liar. Is that a fair statement? And so what it says to me is until we have term limits in the House and the Senate, we'll continue to have big deficits. Because they all just want to stay there. It's all about power. But here's the ugly thing. Here's the interest on the debt. You go back to March 2016 to March 2017, just for that month. In 12 months, our interest payments on the debt went up 30%. 2017 to 2018, they went up 10.7%. 2018 to 2019, they went up 15.5%. Our interest payments on the debt in the prior 36 months rose 56%. Our debt didn't go up that much. It's all rising interest rates. Folks, this is going to be a problem down the line. Who agrees? The problem is, like people like me, we don't care because we'll be dead. But we should care because our kids and grandkids have to live with this. Who thinks I'm right? I will say one thing else here on this thing. If you are not a Realtor PAC member in this room, shame on you. You have one group fighting for you in Washington, D.C. Am I correct? And you're looking at one of the big PAC fund when I was chairman or whatever. I do want to talk about China. Here's what we bought from China last year. Computers, electronics, electrical equipment, manufacturing, machinery. Y'all realize everything almost we buy from China is high value add. That means we leave the good jobs in China. Y'all with me on this? The one thing we don't buy high value add from China is leather. Why do we buy so much leather from China? It's real simple, because it's one of the most toxic processes known to mankind. We use heavy metals. And thank heavens we do have an EPA in the US that doesn't allow us to dump that in our water, in our streams, and our soils. In China they do. If you are a true environmentalist in this room, you would never buy anything else from China ever again. It's the most polluting country you've ever seen in your entire lifetime, folks. So that's what we bought from China. Now, I'm going to show you this next one. And this is what China bought from us. It's the same scale. So if we're going to have a trade war, and they decide not to buy from us, and we're not going to buy from them, who loses? China loses. Because we buy a bunch from them, and they don't buy hardly anything from us. And what they do buy from us, some of it's not high value add. Folks, we bought $539 billion from them last year. They bought $120 billion from us. It's $418 billion. But this still doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that we buy more from them than they buy from us. This is what bothers me. This is as of April 9th, because that's the last date we got the real numbers on. If we import a U.S.-built car to China, by the way, the #1 car in demand in China built in the United States is a Buick. If you're a business person, man or woman in China, if you want status, you drive a Buick. It's a true story. If we ship a $50,000 Buick to China, they tariff at 25%. So now think about that. That means our $50,000 car now has $12,500 of tariff on it. If China ships us a $50,000 car, we tariff at 2.5%. How come we tax their cars so little and they tax our cars so much? Because they don't want our cars, they want us to sell us their cars. And my statement is, I'm willing to play the game if I get to play by the same rules. Who agrees with me? So I'm telling y'all, as far as it comes to China, bring the trade war on. I'm willing to pay an extra $100 for my iPhone because I know those jobs won't be in the most polluting country in the world. That's just me. Just put that out there. First time. Notice that was pure economics and no politics. How about that? First time in 75 years, we're a net oil exporter of the United States of America. Now, I'm going to age myself. I'm going to take you back to the 70s. I have my own appraisal company. My first big job was the appraisal of a hotel in Florida, and it went bankrupt. It was one of hundreds in the 70s that went bankrupt because OPEC raised oil prices. And when they raised oil prices, people couldn't afford to come to Florida. Who remembers this, folks? Yeah, I ended up doing over 100 hotels and resorts. All went bankrupt. All because of energy. And we were Mercy's end of it because we didn't have oil and gas. We're now the largest oil and gas producer in the world on a daily basis. How many of y'all knew that? The United States produces more oil and gas every day than any other country in the world. I want to show you this. This is our total number of drilling rigs, but let me just bring it down to here. We're going to take those 2 points. Since 2014, we went from 1,700, almost 1,800 drilling rigs to less than 1,000. Oil dropped from $106 a barrel to $61 a barrel. Our production almost went up by 50%. We're using half as many people, half as much equipment, half as much capital to produce 50% more oil. technology, folks. You are doing the same in your world, am I correct? Think about this, showing desks and everything else like that. Energy, and the big winner, I think it's Florida. Because it makes it cheap for people to come here, am I correct? Yeah. Oil, I'm looking at 50, 60 bucks a barrel this year, which is great. Just to throw in commercial, U.S. commercial sales are up 9.3%. This is for my people in Miami. I don't have the keys, unfortunately. In Miami, it's up 16.5%, and that's despite your real estate being more expensive than in the U.S. on average. So people are paying a premium for Florida real estate. I'll wrap this thing up and get on my last pet peeve. Strong economy, growing jobs, and the key wages. Declining interest rates, great news. 40% chance the Fed's going to cut rates. Rising home prices, although I think they're going to go up at a slower pace. Cheap or profitable energy, that's amazing. Manufacturing comes back. I tweet. Who's going to tweet with me? Give me 1, 2, 3. I got 1. What the hell's with you? You call yourselves realtors and don't tweet? Realtors, a millennial will do 5 tweets, 5 texts before they'll ever think of returning your phone call. You need to start communicating with the largest home buying segment in the United States of America for the last 6 consecutive years. I won't even tell you which company. There's a brokerage company in Florida. One of the top 5 people, when this individual retweets one of my tweets, it goes to 874,000 of their customers. In a minute or 2 minutes of this person's time, they reach 874,000 customers that want to read what they say. Did you hear what I just said? Who's going to follow me now? 2. Thanks, guys. I got to show you this one. I'm going to Maine next week. At the NAR convention, who went to Boston this year? I spoke at NAR. We have a big booth there at Stewart, and then I went up to Maine. This is Maine Association Realtors people, and they pulled in to our booth in Boston like they'd been on a cruise, tan from head to toe. And I said, "Where'd y'all go on a cruise?" They said they didn't. I said, "So it's tanning booth or what?" And they said no. And so I went up there afterwards to speak in the Maine Association Realtors. She gave me a picture, and she says, "This is Yankee ingenuity at its best." Well, we get tan up there is we wait till we have 2 or 2.5 feet of snow. We go up there and we dig a hole. On a sunny day, you go out there with your yoga mat, your Uggs, and your robe. You unroll your yoga mat, take off your Uggs and your robe, you lay down in there, you almost get a 360 tan because the snow tans all the way around you. She said, "Doc, that's Yankee ingenuity. It's best, better than anything you have in Texas." I said, "We have Yankee ingenuity in Texas." She said, "You don't have 2 feet of snow." I said, "No, but we got ingenuity." She said, "Prove it." I said, "What would you do with a hot tub on the 4th of July when it's 100 degrees outside?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, we have hot tub parties." So I got to do this real quick. Lastly, first of all, we all need to be better stewards. Who agrees with me? But if you truly believe that the plastic straw is going to destroy the world, we got to rethink this. Now I carry, but we need to be stewards and make this world a better place than we found it. So I got to show you this ingenuity we have. First of all, there's only one paper straw manufacturer in the world. What are you going to do for your margaritas and daiquiris when there are paper straws here? I want to know this, folks. You are in serious trouble. Except this ingenuity. One of the largest Hanukkah and Christmas stocking gifts last year were these permanent straws. This one, 4 brass, straight 4 brass current, 2 cleaning rods, carrying case, delivered to your house for $9.98. But wait, there's more. This one, those are not plastic. Those are silicone. Remember, silicone's made out of sand. 6 curved, colorful straws, soft, 4 stainless steel curved rods, carrying case, 3 cleaning rods, $9.99. But wait, there's more. If you're the big kahuna, you gotta have the kahuna straw.
Drink champagne with.
So this is Tiffany's. This is Tiffany's Sterling Silver Monkey Straw, 7 1/4 inches long, $425, free shipping and returns. I had to call him about the returns. I said, "Well, how many people returned for the money?" And he said, "Nobody." This lady told me nobody. I said, "Why do you offer free returns?" She said, "Well, very often people buy up to 25 of these as gifts for the holidays." They give it to people, and that person already has that design. So we turned to the other, and I said, there's others. She said, sure. We got the rose gold for meal straw. We got the 9-inch ladybug straw. Y'all get it yet? And lastly, I'm going to say this, and I'll give you one more video, and I'll promise that. Folks, realtors in this room, you should never ever use a Hotmail, Gmail, or Yahoo account ever again. You cost your home buyers last year, the realtors in this country, like real estate licensees, over $1 billion in wire fraud. It's because you're not using encrypted email. You must, what the FBI estimates that 80% of those type of accounts have been hacked, yours. And the Russian mafia reads your emails every day. Did y'all know this? What they're looking for is a closing, and they want to affect wire fraud. Y'all with me on this? Now, let me tell you the good news. The good news is, and I'm not even talking about wire fraud of wiring instructions, because we don't do that anymore. We're talking about, you know, a closing is going to take place. When I was in Las Vegas just a couple weeks ago, we had a closing going on. Closer sitting next to the seller, they're sitting at the table, both of them are sitting there. Our closer, they're waiting for papers to come in. Our closer pulls up their iPhone and it says from the seller, oh, by the way, I just decided to transfer my closing funds to this new account. That seller had not sent an email. The mafia knew they were closing at that point in time and was spoofing. Now, let me tell you the good news. Because we, the title insurance company, use encrypted emails, we are not being held liable. Lenders use encrypted emails. They're not being held liable. Latest court decision in the United States says the realtor's liable. Your errors and omissions insurance doesn't cover it. We've seen some wire fraud in excess of $1 million. You would be responsible for 80% of that according to last case court decision. Have I scared you enough? Now, Carlos, you teach a wire fraud course, and our people do. If y'all want to know anything about that, you can talk to Carlos about that. We even have a site where you can go to see how many accounts have been hacked. My account had been hacked 14 times, so I'm there. So I got to tell you all this. I'm so afraid of security, cybersecurity. I don't have an Alexa or Echo Dot in my house. Who does it here? There you go. So watch this one. Here we go. And then I'm done.
Starting this year, Toyota and Lexus luxury models will come with Amazon Alexa.
Alexa, turn on the AC.
Turning on AC.
Finally, a virtual assistant to help you navigate.
Alexa, where's the nearest gas station?
Nearest gas station in 1.5 miles.
And to help maintain your vehicle.
Alexa, order more brake pads.
Ordering new brake pads. Although maybe if you didn't stop so close to the car in front of you.
I left plenty of room.
You drive too aggressively.
If you were just quiet for 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
She'll talk to you literally the entire time you're driving.
I think you should have turned back there.
I know where I'm going!
Hi, you know why I pulled you over?
No, officer, I have...
Because we were driving 72 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone.
Anything else I should know?
2 miles back, we rolled through a stop sign without coming to a complete stop. Also, there are illegal fireworks in the trunk.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to step out of the car, please.
Amazon Alexa. You'll never get
So who's going to take it out there? You guys have to tell you all this. You're my kind of people down here, even though y'all have funny accents. It is an honor and privilege to be back here. Can I come back next year? Thank you all very, very much. Bye.